chapter 4, exercise number 3 is your individual exercise. It's also creating an end condition. So we created an end condition and showed you how to do it in exercise number 2. This is going to be basically the same thing, only this is the individual exercise. Okay, so if you've already done exercises 1 and 2, here you should have a J5P3181. If you don't, you might want to check out exercise 1 on how to create that if you don't know how to create that ITL. So we're going to assume that you've been through both those exercises, and we're going to go in and to the end conditions folder that you created in exercise 2, and we're going to create a new template called fill 4 to 1 and cut 3 to 1. Should look something like that. Okay, so we're going to go back into the create template. So for our purposes here, we're still in the civil geometry file, and we are in the J5P3181 ITL. So we're in that file and in that template library, and in exercise 2 we created an end condition folder. That end condition folder, if you can expand out to that, we're going to left click on the end conditions, we're going to right click and do a new template. Okay, that new template, when you take a look at that one, fill 4 to 1, cut 3 to 1. So we'll do fill 4 to 1, cut 3 to 1, and we'll enter that in, and that has made that name at the top, so we know we're editing that particular end condition. And we're going to come down here into our manual again. So we've created that, we've done step 3. Step 4 is to create a fill and ditch end condition in the same end condition template, just like we did before. And we're going to create this fill and this cut. Okay, and then that is all you really have given to you in this exercise. So we're going to go through and create this exercise pretty much the way that we created the last exercise. If you want to take a look at that and follow along doing that, I'm just going to do it in the template library. But you can see we've got a 4 to 1 fill to begin. So let's start with that 4 to 1 fill slope. Okay, so out here in our window, we're going to right click, add new component, end condition. Okay, the end condition is going to be a fill slope, so I'm going to change that name to fill slope. It's going to be an excess ground proposed, which we figured out before was under the mesh template components, grading, excess ground proposed. Priority, we'll have that set at 1, terrain model, and active. Okay, so we have it set up the way we want it. In our dynamic settings dialog, we're going to be looking at a fill slope. This is the top fill slope. So we'll go to fill slope T. We're going to go excess ground proposed, and we'll do an XY of 0, 0. And all we have to do is enter that in. Okay, the next point is going to be down here at a 4 to 1 on the fill, so we've got the bottom, so we'll do a fill slope B. Again, excess ground proposed. We want this to have everything turned on here. Check for interception, place a point, and end condition is infinite because we want that to go out and seek that existing ground. Okay, so down here we've got HS. Okay, if we take a look at what we have here, no real distance is given on this one. I'm just going to go out like we did before and do a 30 foot at 4 to 1. So if we do that, our HS is what we're going to use for this, and we'll just go out the 30 foot, comma, and then we're going to go down 4 to 1, so we'll do a -1, colon 4. Okay, so 30 comma -1 colon 4, and we'll enter that in. Zoom around, we should have that out there. All we have to do is right click and finish. And we have our fill slope in there. If you want to double check, double click on the green line. You can see we got priority 1, terrain model active, and all of that is good. Okay, our fill slope B down here, we got -25%, that's a 4-to-1 at 30 feet. Okay, so we've got that in there. Our next thing then is to take a look at what we have next. We have a 12-foot at 3-to-1, an 8-foot flat bottom ditch, and then a 3-to-1 back slope, and we can make that whatever length we want to. Before, I think we made it 5 foot, so we can do the same thing here. If you're not sure what points to use, all you have to do is go back to the exercise, the previous exercise, and we can kind of follow along with this. Okay, so we would do a ditch. So let's go out and take a look at creating the ditch. So this is a fill slope. It's one component by itself. So we need to create another new component. So we're going to right click in a blank area, add new component, and this is another end condition. Okay, in the end condition, this is going to be the ditch. So we can name it ditch. Existing ground proposed, terrain model active. Our priority this time, I'm going to go ahead and set it at 2 before we begin. And now that is going to be the name of our component. So in our dynamic settings, we can set that up. So let's take a look at what we did before. Okay, so before we had a ditch 4 slope 1T. So that's the point that we want to use here too. So we'll do a ditch 4 slope 1T. That'll be the top point. Excess ground proposed is correct. Got our steps set up. So we'll do an XY here of 0, 0, and enter that in. That starts our ditch component. Okay, so then we can go back in again and look at our previous example. We're looking at a ditch 4 slope 1B this time, and we can do an HS again. Everything is disabled though, however, so let's double check and make sure we have everything set up properly. So our next point here, we said was going to be a ditch 4 slope 1B for the bottom. Still have existing ground or excess ground proposed for our feature definition. We have everything unchecked here. We don't want anything checked for this first portion of our ditch. And we have an HS. We said it was 12 foot at 3-to-1. So we'll do a 12, comma -1 colon 3. And then all we have to do is enter that in. And we've got that first part of our ditch in there. Come back and look at what point we used last time here. Ditch back slope 1B. So let's do that. Ditch back slope 1B. Here it is at this location. This time we had an 8-foot flat bottom ditch at 0. So we can still use the HS, and we can do an 8, 0. So that would be 8 foot at 0% slope. And we can enter that in. Also, we had no interceptions or anything on that. I'm going to go back after this and take a look at that point just to show you, if you had yours turned on, that you can turn it back off even if you forgot to uncheck these. Okay, your last point then will be a ditch back slope 1T. This time they did it at a percentage. We'll still do our 3-to-1, 1-to-3. We could do a 33%, and we'll try that. Okay, so for this one, our ditch back slope 1T is what we're going to use. Same thing here. This time we do want to check for interception. Okay, so we'll go ahead and turn those on. HS. This time we can keep it the same as kind of what we did before. We did a 5 foot. So we'll do a 5, comma. This time we'll do 33%. We could do a comma 1:3 instead of a negative, and it would do the same thing. So we'll just do the 33 and enter that in. And then when we're finished, we will right click and hit finish. Now, like I said before, if we want to double check these points to make sure, we can double click on any line. So that line is the whole entire ditch, and you can see it's a priority of 2. So that is definitely correct. We want that to happen. Our ditch 4 slope 1B, we can double click on that point. We can make sure that our items are unchecked here for that first one. Okay. You can see that that slope is 33.33. Okay. Keep that in mind, negative 33.33. And we went 12 foot. Okay. The next point that we have over, we did a 0% slope at 8 feet. Okay, and that is from this ditch 4 slope 1B point. So we're 8 foot over at 0%. So that one looks good to me. We don't have any end conditions in here that it's looking for intersection or interception, or it's not infinite, because we want it to be exactly 8 foot. So all that stuff is turned off. So that one looks good. If it's turned on, just simply uncheck it and then hit apply. This last point, I made it 33%. And if you remember, that first point that we had coming down was a negative 33.33. So what I'm going to do is just change this last 0, 0 to 33 and hit apply. It's going to make a slight change, but it will change that to a 3-to-1 slope. Okay, then we can close that out. And if you'd like to, you can test this. I usually like to test what I've got. I didn't see anything pop up that say I had end condition priority problems or anything like that, so we should be good. I can come over here and draw. I can see if I go above it, I get a ditch. If I go below it, I get a fill slope. So we can close that out. We're good here. I can just do a file save and save that template library, and now I have 2 types of end conditions that I can use for my project. And that will conclude exercise number 3.